Good afternoon and welcome to this information session about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Global Fellowship Call 2021. I am Samrat Kumar, the coordinator of EURAXESS India and the moderator of today's session. This webinar is organized in partnership with the EU delegation to India, and today's focus will be on the Global Fellowship Call, which is targeting European nationals and or long-term residents who wish to conduct part of their research, their postdoctoral research, with leading research institutions, universities in any country in the world, such as in India. You will also learn about hosting offers for this fellowship call at top Indian and European universities, as well as research institutions. I would like now to ask the head of the Research Innovation section at the EU delegation, Ms. Tanya Friedrichs, to say a few words about the benefits of this global fellowship and how it can strengthen an international research career, institutional collaboration across continents, and in particular, how it can strengthen EU-India research cooperation. Tanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to all in Europe and in India. It's about afternoon everywhere now, isn't it? According to Indian standards. But yes, thank you very much in the first place also to Samrat, with whom we had the idea together to organize that webinar. It's the first time that we do one specifically on the global fellowship. And I would like, if you allow me, to elaborate a little bit why we are focusing on the global fellowship compared to in the past on the what was called individual fellowship and no postdoctoral fellowship. We and I in particular have been for 5 years now in India and working to this cooperation between Europe and India on research and innovation, because it is important, because it opens a lot of avenues. But what we see is that Europe doesn't sufficiently yet find its way to India. That is for various reasons, and we here in India, we do see that there are excellent research institutes, universities, and researchers. And this is such a missed opportunity for the Europeans not to come to India and always be inclined to go to another big continent, the US or other countries, or of course in Europe we're also spoiled. We can do a lot of intra-mobility to Europe. So the main, and then we discovered that we had that scheme, Global Fellowship, which is exactly allowing a fellow from Europe to do part of its postdoctoral in a partner country which is outside the European Union or the associated countries. And then we found such enthusiastic response immediately from Indian institutes, so that we brought you together in a very unfortunate time for Europe, because it's holidays, for some just finished or to start. But despite that, we could find partners from Europe, which shows that also Europe is interested to partner with India and to make this cross-fertilization. So this is the first time we're doing that, and I have to thank you, Samrat, for having helped us to develop further that idea. It fits also within the overall policy commitments that we make, that we have to encourage two-way mobility. And I also believe that if Europe starts to know better India, that will facilitate also the two-way mobility, the Europeans, because India is already fairly well represented in Europe. Whether you look at our numbers of Erasmus students or of individual Marie Skłodowska-Curie fellows, But we want to reverse that with that scheme, and so we hope that in the first place we managed to explain to you well the modalities of that scheme. It's always a bit complicated if it's for the first time, but I'm sure that our dear colleague Vivek Dham will do a very good job in explaining how it works, and then you will also see how it could work with the partners that we have brought on the table already today. And of course, we need to find the scholars that are interested, that have that ambition to do a postdoctoral. So that is, thank you for allowing me a bit more time to give the parameters of the exercise. And we really hope to see Europeans coming to India, because seeing is believing. And you will see there is first-class possibility of research here, whether it is at the institutes, the infrastructure, or especially you will benefit from excellent researchers here to pursue your career. So thank you very much, and we are available throughout for questions or further bringing this scheme together.
Thank you, Tanya. Let me now welcome Dr. Vivek Dham, advisor at the Research Innovation Section, EU delegation, who will now give us an overview about the modalities and the scope of the Global Fellowship. And Vivek, you already put on your screen, and yeah, floor is yours. Please enlighten us about the Global Fellowship. Thank you. Your mic is muted, Vivek.
Are you able to see my full screen, or there are two screens?
It's perfect.
Okay, fine. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Vivek Dham, representing EU delegation in India. So I'm going to give you a brief overview about the Marie Sklodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowship 2020, a specific focus on global fellowship. So this is under the Horizon Europe. That is what the new EU program is all about. So let me check why. Okay. So this is a brief outline of my presentation. I will give you how the Marie Curie is integrated in new Horizon 2020 Horizon Europe program. The Marie Curie program fellowships, that is the postdoctoral fellowships. I will give you a little bit eligibility criteria, conditions required to apply, host institute, host country, application formalities, evaluation criteria, and the timeline. So just okay. So this is the structure of Horizon Europe, the new European Research and Innovation Framework Program, which exclusively fund all research and innovation activity. This is a 7 years program for 2021-2027. It is one of the biggest publicly funded research and innovation program in the world. It has a budget of 95.5 billion euros, which is close to something 8.5 lakh crore Indian rupees. So this program is divided in 3 pillars. That is pillar 1, which dedicate on excellence of science, pillar 2 on global challenges, and pillar 3 on innovation activities. So pillar 1, which is today's focus of our Marie Curie, is under pillar 1, that is excellence of science, which is more idea-driven pillar, which gives the opportunity for the young researchers, idea-driven research, R&D purpose. So this is all structured under the pillar 1, where you will find European Research Council, Marie Curie, and research infrastructure. So I will focus only on Marie Curie fellowship, that is Marie Sklodowska-Curie fellowship. This particular fellowship is again subdivided in different actions. There are different actions like doctoral network, postdoctoral network, staff exchange, co-fund, and promotion of research and innovation with the society, which is called Researchers' Night in Europe, which is quite a popular program. This entire Marie Sklodowska-Curie action, MSCA action, has a global overall 7 years budget is 6.6 billion euros for 7 years. So I will only focus on postdoctoral fellowship for today's event. So before I go into the details, because we will use this acronym MSCA all the time, because the program's name has been changed in last framework program in 2014. It's now called Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action. Earlier it was called Marie Curie Program. So the Skłodowska is her Polish name, which is added into the name. So now the acronym which you will keep on hearing from us, or even the keyword, is MSCA. Why Marie Skłodowska-Curie? Why the program is named after her? Because the entire life of Marie Curie, the philosophy, the principles which exactly reflects into this program, that is the excellence, the mobility, and international connectivity. That is what exactly the Marie Curie program is built upon. So this objective of this program is to have foster the excellence to the young researchers. That is what the main idea behind that. So creative and enhance the creativity and innovation potential of researchers by focusing on international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility. And that is what the entire program is all about. You will come to know what exactly how it is integrated in different actions. So if you ask me which areas or which research fields are funded under Marie Curie, basically it is a bottom-up approach. That means all scientific fields, that is STEM fields, science, technology, mathematics, engineering, including social science and humanities, and so economic science, are part of this program. So Europe consider social science, humanities, and economics as a research and innovation activity. So all these 8 different panels has been created. Anyone can apply under the specific panel which is of your interest. This particular fellowship is subdivided in 2 types. One is European fellowship and another is global fellowship. So we had 3 very excellent seminars on European fellowship, that is meant for the non-European or the European who wants to go move within Europe or go to Europe. So that is meant for that. But today's focus is global fellowship, that is meant for European or long-term resident of European citizens are going abroad, that is for going out of Europe. So that is the focus of a global fellowship. I will go a little bit detail into it because this is meant from going Europe to other parts of the world. So who can apply? Basically, it is open to European nationals or long-term resident who are more than 5 years resident in European member state or Horizon 20 Europe associated country, at least for 5 consecutive years. So even an Indian passport holder staying in Europe for longer time, that is 5 years, is eligible to apply for global fellowship. He can come to India. There is no age restrictions. Discipline, again, I already mentioned, it is a bottom-up approach. All the scientific fields are encouraged and eligible to apply. The researchers has to select which panel they want to apply, because it is a lot of research under this particular program is cross-sectoral, and that is why you need to decide which is the most appropriate panel to apply for this fellowship. Now, so this is very important slide. It is little bit packed, but I purposely kept this text because the language is very important, and it is very important to comprehend exactly the meaning of this specific conditions. Mobility rules, basically, the researchers who can researchers cannot have resid or carried out his or her work in country of associated partner for more than 12 months in last 36 months. So what it means, any European national, for example, coming to IISc Bangalore, shouldn't have worked in last 3 years in IISc for more than 12 months, or in India for more than 12 months. So those people who are eligible to apply global fellowship. So please read this definition, these conditions again and again, because this is meant for the third country associated partners post outgoing fellowship should not have resided more than 12 months. So the candidate must have hold a PhD at the time of submission, or at least defended his viva and had a provisional degree from the university. Those candidates are only eligible to apply. And the research experience, this is the new eligibility condition or specific condition has been applied. The maximum research experience should not be more than 8 years. So this, that is maximum 8 years of experience after the PhD. It has some exceptions. So you can exclude maternity leave, paternity leave, or time spent for not working in research like industry or teaching field, which you can exclude, and you can calculate if that fits within the 8 years period. So these are the exceptions for the calculation of research experience. So what is the duration of this particular fellowship? The global fellowship can be from 24 months to 36 months maximum. So the outgoing phase, that is from Europe to India, for example, it can be range from 12 months to 24 months maximum. And there is a mandatory phase that once the secondment, that is finished in India, the European candidate must go back to the host institute for minimum for 12 months. That is a mandatory return phase that needs to be respected. Within that, there is a lot of secondment is possible. There is 1/3 of the secondment within the 12 to 24 months. There is an additional secondment is possible to any country or any sector if the candidate want. Because if you see, these are the fellowships which are meant for a new generation of researchers. They want to bridge the gap between the labs and industry. So more and more people are encouraged to do the secondments, this in the 1/3 outgoing phases at the industries, so that the idea can be converted into the market-oriented product. That kind of attitude, that kind of experience, the person should get at the postdoctoral level. And then there is an additional option, which is a new option given by the European Commission, that is non-academic placement. After the 36 months of your postdoc, you can go for 6 months additional placement in industry, in any non-academic sector, but that's specifically in the European member state or associated country. So how does it work? Who are involved in this particular program? So that is first the candidate who has a PhD, who has less than 8 years of experience from Europe. The supervisor, that we can call a first supervisor or principal supervisor, that is established, or he is or she is based in Europe. The second, that is host institute, which is based in Europe. And then associated partner, that is the Indian, for example, India can act as an associated partner. And then administrative coordinator contacts from the European Institute. So these are the 5 people which are involved in the application process. So who can host any academic or non-academic sector, be it a university, institute, research center, NGO, industry, small and medium SMEs, any actor who is involved in R&D activity is eligible to host the postdoctoral candidate. So which are the first host country? So these are the European 27 member states, which are the principal program countries, and there are 18 upcoming Horizon 2020 associated countries are there, which includes the Norway, then UK is also associated to that. So these are the countries which can act as a primary or preliminary host country for the Europeans, and associated partner organizations from any part of the world, including India. So it can be part of the proposal. So you can also host those postdoctoral candidate at your institute. You will not be directly beneficiary of European Commission, but you will get the additional funding. I will explain you in the later slides how you can be take a share of your funding from this scholarship. So how does it work? The submission of proposal, the proposal needs to be prepared and developed jointly by research candidate, that is a postdoctoral candidate, post supervisor from Europe, and also a supervisor from India, associated partner. All these three people should come together, form an application, joint application. Associated partner organizations will give a letter of commitment to the European Host Institute so that it confirms the outgoing phase is already committed. The online submission that will be done by the European Host Supervisor or Institute, they are the one who is actually the beneficiary. They will submit the proposal. One proposal per candidate is acceptable. If you apply more than one proposal, only the proposal last submitted will be considered. So make sure only one proposal is submitted. If selected, the host institute in European member state or associated country will recruit that particular postdoctoral candidate, and the supervisor will be conducting the preliminary administrative formalities in Europe. An associated partner will not get that, don't have to sign the European grant agreement, don't have to recruit the researchers, and don't have to claim the cost. Then how does this funding work? So that is what the more question for the Indian institution will come. So we will come to that details in later slides. But the funding for Marie Curie Global Fellowship is 100% is provided by the European Commission. The gross amount, the living allowance is a gross amount because then the tax will be calculated as per the country's regulations. All research costs are subject to taxation as per the, as I mentioned, to national regulations. The candidate can get living allowance, mobility allowance, family allowance, and in addition, the institutes will get research training grant of 1,000 euros and management and indirect contribution 650 euros. So overall, something 7,990 euros, 900 euros are the per month contribution by the European Commission to the postdoctoral candidate. You will get it. So the Indian, for example, associated partner will able to claim or can get certain amount of funding from the institutional unit contribution. So for that, you need to have a partnership agreement between the European Host Institute and the Indian Institute. So this there is a template available online, but it is not necessary at the time of submission of proposal. You should sign this agreement, but it is better that both the PIs, the principal investigators or the supervisors from Europe and India, discuss this upfront and decide how much grant could be shared within it. There is no European Commission involvement in this. It is purely institutional arrangement and agreement. The Commission doesn't intervene into that. There is no percentage of grant sharing formula. It is between the two supervisors that needs to decide. So where can apply? This call is already launched in June. Right now, the last date for submission is 12th of August. Even though the holiday season, we wanted to pursue this promotion because of the shortage of time. So 12th October is the last date for submission of application form. This all information will be available on funders and tender portal. I will share the slides where you will find all the details. So the application form is divided into two parts. That is part A, which is more the structured form, online form, where the research institute beneficiaries and the partner institute or associated partners information will be given. Then also there has to be budget, which is a more structured budget format has to follow. Then ethics, security, and all specific questions need to be addressed. This is all structured data in part A. Part B is more like a scientific proposal, which is you can download the template from the Horizon Europe website. So the main proposal, that is part A of the proposal, which is actually score of the scientific proposal, should not exceed more than 10 pages. That is strictly 10 pages maximum. You should include excellent impact and implementation. There plenty of information and guidance is available on the website. The templates are given, and you will also find a lot of information on NCPs. Then second part, which is the CV of the postdoctoral candidate, letter of commitment, all these details. There is no page restriction. You can upload on the Horizon 2020 website. So evaluation criteria, as I mentioned, it will be evaluated on 3 criteria: excellent, impact, and implementation. Excellence have 50% weightage, which the evaluators will look into the quality of the proposal, feasibility of the proposal, interdisciplinarity of proposal, supervision quality, all these factors important. So there is also a specific section within the guidelines of European Commission, European Union handbook gives how the evaluation criteria has been defined. Please go through that. There is a specific sections to be under address, that is gender dimension and open science. This is new integration in an evaluation, but you need to address this during the application process. Impact and implementation. So these are the standard 3 criteria for evaluation. Who evaluates this proposal? Basically, the evaluation will be done in a peer review process. Independent international experts will evaluate these proposals. The evaluation will be carried out by the 3 international experts. So if anybody wants to be an expert evaluator, please write to us, or you can register yourself on Horizon Europe website as an expert profile. You will be in our database that will be selected randomly. So the proposal are evaluated in 8 panels, and based on the these are very highly competitive proposals and very fierce competition. So last time when we evaluate the data, so you need to be in the range of 96% in that threshold to be successful in that range. So tentative timeline, I already mentioned, the call was open on 22nd of June, will close on 12th October 2021, 17 hours Brussels time. The link will be deactivated after 17:01. So make sure you submit the proposal on time. Evaluation will be done overall in November, December, March, February will be the outcome of evaluation. If you are selected, the institute will be invited for a signing of grant agreement in March. So the postdoc can start from any time between May and September 2021. If you miss this particular call, don't worry. The next call is already in preparation, the text is available on website. It most likely will be launched on 13/04, that is 13 April in 2020, and deadline. So almost an year advance we are giving you this information. Again, the tips, because these are very detailed information is given across all the documents. Please read even the asterisk which is given in the application form as well as the guideline. Use official templates only. There is specific information available on funders and tender portal. I will share all the links with you. Then ask support from host institute, NCPs, because these are the people who are more well versed with this application form. You can also ask alumni association support, because those are the people who are already successfully cracked the MSCA. So do not wait for the last minute. These are the important links which I will be sharing after the event, this presentation. And I will stop it here, and I will be available for a couple of questions if Samrat allows me. Thank you, and we'll look more and more Europeans coming to India. So it is equally important that the Indian Institute also promote themselves in Europe, because visibility is the key to make the European India as the best destination. So I urge all the Indian Europe institutions to promote yourself in Europe. We will be there to help you out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for giving us a very clear overview about the modalities of the Global Fellowship. And questions are coming in, Vivek. We will try to keep it short now and then try to take all the questions at the end. But just for now, I think one question which we're hearing all the time is UK part of the program?
Yeah, UK is a part of that, and that is why I already mentioned in Iit that is associated partner. They are part of the Marie Curie program, and they can approach the UK-based entities.
Another question is coming from one of our European colleagues is, how can one institution submit the proposals? This call seems to be aimed at applicants, but how can applicants be aware of host institutions and existing research groups?
Could you please repeat?
So basically, I'll rephrase it. Like the application is done by the institution or by the candidate, just to clarify that.
Yeah, basically the application is done by the institution nominating candidate for the postdoctoral, because the money which is coming from European Commission will come to the institute and not to the candidate. So the institute recruit the postdoctoral candidate on their payroll. So it is when the proposal is submitted, it will go like, for example, CNRS labs from France submits that. So the applicant name is CNRS, and they nominate or they consider that this is our candidate for the postdoctoral fellowship.
A follow-up question from the same.
Just if I, Samrat, I'm also listening, and if I understand correctly the question, it's also, and it's a relevant question, the applicant is an institute, but of course, this scheme is for a postdoc researcher. So the question is, how can this postdoc researcher find the institute?
Yeah.
So that is, today there is one way to find it, because we bring on board some Europeans that would be interested in working with India and form such a consortia. But of course, that's a limited way, because if there's only few. So what we need to explain is, how can a postdoc find an institute that would be willing to execute the postdoctoral research with that person. And therefore, and for that, we have tools within Horizon Europe where you can find institutes, or through Eraxes, there is a lot of expression of interest by institutes that are interested to take on postdoctorals. But the best way, I think, is always already your connections. You would not start a postdoctoral with an institute that you don't know, doesn't know you, and then, so it's a bit organically as well. But there are tools within our Horizon Europe and through your Eraxes tool to find host institutes, because that is the key. And that is also why the application itself it has to click in the first place between the host institute and the postdoctoral, and then you continue to find the matching partner in a third country, which in this case it would be India. And of course here we have to specify that the postdoctoral has to be a European, i.e. from one of the 27 member states or a country associated to the Horizon Europe program, and we have that list, and in that list you have the UK, or a postdoc who has been already having 5 years of residence in Europe. So an Indian that has been in Europe for more than 5 years is an eligible postdoctoral candidate to be hooked on to a European host institute. I think that it's a bit it's a scheme that we promote for the first time, so it's a bit not complicated, but there's different steps and distinctions to be made.
Yeah. Thank you, Tanya. I think this was very well addressed, the question of the attendee, and you make the perfect transition now also, because this webinar is made for exploring the opportunities, the possibilities for researchers interested in this fellowship to come to India, and we have Indian institutions who have expressed their interest to host such a global fellow, and we have European institutions also who are interested to apply for this global fellowship. So now let's just go to the next part of our session, And we will start with our first presenter. I would like to welcome Dr. Raghunathan Bansal, Chief Scientist and Head of International S&T Affairs Directorate at the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in India. Dr. Rama, it's a pleasure to have you with us. I'll just put you on the screen. Yeah, here you are. And yeah, so please tell us about the possibilities of hosting a postdoctoral researcher from Europe at your institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Samrat. And thank you, team EU delegation, for giving me this opportunity to present the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Are my slides visible and are they in full screen mode?
Yes.
Yeah, so what I will do is, because we have only 7 minutes to present an organization like CSIR, I'll try to be very quick, and at the end of these slides, you will find some more information on the research institutions, specific facilities and areas. It will come in the subsequent slides. So I would give you a brief introduction to CSIR, its research and technology strength areas, the overview of our R&D collaboration linkages with the European partners, and the major facilities infrastructure that CSR has. Can you see the next slide? Or I'm stuck with the first. No, it's not moving. Are the slides moving?
Not now. Now they're moving. Yeah.
So as you see, CSI was set up in 1942 with none other than the approval of the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru ji, who was our first president of CSI Society. And now we are under the Ministry of Science and Technology, the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. And the CSIR continues to be guided by the Prime Minister of India as the President of CSIR Society. The Vice President of CSIR is the Minister for Science and Technology. And the day-to-day activities are managed and executed through our Director General, Dr. Csir, who is also the Secretary of Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. So CSIR is a pan-India organization which comprises today 37 industrial research institutions, as I said, spread across the country. And these institutes have at least one outreach center located in another city in India. So what we do, we work towards advancing the knowledge, fueling economic growth, catering to strategic needs of the country, and achieving societal welfare. How we do it? Mainly through the research and development. Also, we play a major role in India towards development of future science leaders through capacity building, infrastructure development. And the entire effort of CSR, which is into all the science and technology areas, barring atomic energy and space, although we do some bit there also, but we don't talk about them. The number of scientists, currently we have about 3,600. S&T support staff 4,500. The PhD students, which is a floating population, generally remains over 3,000, and the administrative staff of about 2,000 odd people. So CSR labs, I just mentioned, we have around we now have 37 research institutes. They could be broadly categorized into biological, chemical, engineering, physical, and information sciences. Biological sector has 11, chemical has 9, physical 5, engineering 10, and information sciences 3 institutes. And as you know, in the interdisciplinary world, there are so many overlapping effort which is done. So just to name a few, 37 labs, 25 subject domains, over 3,200 active patents, and over 900 ready technologies. As I said, that CSR is a pan-India organization, we pursue a thematic approach to harness multidisciplinary talent and infrastructure for solving specific challenges in identified sectors. So CSR has identified 8 such research themes. These include aerospace, electronics, instrumentation and strategic sector, agri, nutrition and biotechnology, chemicals and petrochemicals, civil infrastructure and engineering, environment, ecology, earth and ocean sciences and water, energy and energy devices, healthcare, mining, minerals, metallurgy, and materials. We call it 4Ms. This approach has helped us bring in complementary skills together. They present across the institutes of CSR for addressing unified goals of the country's needs through R&D. Under each of these 8 themes, we have sub-themes. And the number what you see in yellow is, for example, aerospace, electronics, instrumentation, and strategic sectors. We have 19 research institutes working in this area. And the subtopics of focus include electronics and embedded systems, biomedical instrumentation and smart agriculture, aerospace materials, coatings and chemicals, mechanical systems, civil and military aviation. I think I won't read because the number is too large and the number of minutes given to me are too small. So can I just move to the next slide, and you will have the slides to your use later.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So likewise, we have total 8 themes, many sub-themes under each of these 8 themes, and the number of several research institutes working on these themes and sub-themes together. What we have been delivering since the inception or the setting up of CSR is in terms of the public good, the social good, the strategic good, and the private good. So public good is mainly focused towards HR and infrastructure development, which we do through development of scientific facilities, the publications, new knowledge generation, promoting innovation ecosystem in the country, and building capacity for developing new technologies. The societal goods is mainly focused towards developing the rural technologies, promoting frugal innovations, and promoting the MSMEs mainly in the areas of water, affordable housing, agri-tech, floriculture, bamboo, mango, vitrified tiles, ceramics, and brass. These are just very, very indicative sector, but we have many, many more. In terms of private goods, the list is enormous. Very few sectors are mentioned here. So how we do is we license the patents of CSR, our technologies, knowledge base to the industry. We also provide them services through consultancy projects, sponsored projects. And although we say that CSR is not working in the strategic area, but we are contributing in this sector by partnering with the strategic organizations in India like DRDO, ISRO, Department of Atomic Energy, ADA, Navy, Air Force towards providing technological solutions such as Drishti, Dhwani, radiation shielding glasses and materials, electronics and microwave MEMS and sensors. Also, CSR plays national role in many sectors, especially towards maintaining standards and regulations in India. Some of the examples I'll read through, like the National Physical Laboratory is the custodian of national measurement standards. The Traditional Knowledge Digital Library of India is being maintained, managed by CSIR. The Microbial Type Culture Collection and Gene Bank is managed by one of our institutes, IMTech, in Chandigarh. The national legislations for occupational safety and toxicology of chemicals, including plastics and polymers and other products, is managed by our labs, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, located in Lucknow. Likewise,
Dr. Rama, I'm sorry to intervene, but
speed up.
We have one minute left. Thank you.
Done. So from here, I will just flip through these slides. This gives the publications, many of them in premier journals. The patents, so current patent portfolio is over 1,350 patents granted in India, of which 11.8% have already been commercialized. Okay, and patent and technology showcase is available on our website, is very well organized, can be searched lab-wise or area-wise. We have an academy of our own, which provides doctoral and master's program. In terms of collaboration, we have very active collaboration with Germany, France, Czech Republic, Italy, Turkey, and all kinds of collaboration is available. Also, we participate in intergovernmental programs funded by DST, the other ministries in India. 57 projects in last 5 years have been funded, and we have many, many topical collaborations between institution to institutions in Europe. Major facilities are listed here. I won't read since I don't have time. And the facilities are also available on our portal called NLT CSIR. They are categorized in 6 broad sectors. These are my contact information, and I'm really thankful for providing this information. Just wanted to add one sentence that only in last few days, less than a week's time, we had written to all CSI labs. At least 16 of them have already confirmed their interest to be the host to European Postdoc Fellows under the scheme. Information on these institutes, their facilities, their areas are given in the subsequent slides. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Rama. This was really great, and we're happy to hear that so many labs are ready to host a potential postdoc fellow from Europe. And also, of course, your slides will be made available with the attendees after the webinar. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Doya Snijders, Innovation Counselor for India at the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in New Delhi. Welcome, Doya, and I will share your slides. Let me just get to them. Hold on, here we are. Okay, I hope you are able to see them.
Yes, great. Am I audible?
Yeah, perfect. So just let me know when I should move the slides. Yeah.
Okay, great. Very good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for having me here. Indeed, my name is Doya Snijders, Science, Technology and Innovation Counselor at the Netherlands Embassy in India, and we chair the Netherlands Innovation Network in India, have staff members in Mumbai, Bangalore and New Delhi, and we often act as liaisons between the Dutch and the Indian science sector. So if you have any ideas or any questions on doing science in India via the Netherlands, we would really love to hear from you. This short presentation, I'll just give a general overview of the type of Indo-Dutch science cooperations that we have and on doing a postdoc or science in the Netherlands. And the presentation is kind of part of a duo presentation because we're really fortunate to have a representative from the TU Delft, Marie Kammerlo, also on board today, who will highlight a bit later in the program opportunities for the global fellowship from our largest technical university in the Netherlands. So that's a bit later in the program. Indeed, this sheet shows that we have, as Netherlands and India, strong bilateral relationships going back all the way to 1605 when the Dutch entered the Mughal Empire, and Queen Irivi, a local queen, gave the Dutch permission to build a fort and do trading. And today, our prime ministers here, Modi and Rutte, they still have yearly visits. The last 2 years, unfortunately, they were via Zoom, including all its glitches, but the relations, they remain strong. And every year, the topic of these conversations, one of the main topics is science collaboration, especially the exchange of young talent, PhDs, postdocs, to rejuvenate the world with knowledge, as you can say. Moving on to the next sheet, there have been very close relations between the universities. And some 12 years back, a memorandum of understanding was specifically signed on science collaboration, including a bilateral budget. And we see that this has really led to a successful cooperation. If you look at the Horizon 2020 programs, of the 80 awarded projects with Indian participating members, 38 projects were together with Dutch participants. So that's almost half, about 47% of all the projects. And although research is done in all different fields of science, since 2019, we have launched a specific agenda. And we can see on the next sheet, this has the name WA. I don't know if you people know what WA means, but in Hindi, it is awesome or super. And WA is something like here, here. I really like the expression. But in this case, it stands for water, agriculture, and health. And to empower the agenda, there's a specific interest in what we call the key enabling technologies. So there's a focus on science on digital technologies such as data analysis, artificial intelligence, to empower these societal fields. And the shared societal challenges are really the focus of this agenda. So we got together and asked, how can we combat droughts, floods, water shortages, medicine shortages from the Dutch side, healthcare costs, but also make advances together in fields like cybersecurity. So these are all fields that we want to learn from each other. And the types of research projects and the types of global fellowship opportunities we have, we can see on the next sheet. This is one of the projects, for instance. This is the 12.5 kilometer long Bilateral drain in New Delhi, which carries a huge amount of domestic sewage, including all kinds of plastics, pollution, human excreta, and it's responsible for about 30% of the pollution of the very important Yamuna River in this region. So through funding, a living lab was created in collaboration with the TU Delft postdocs and researchers and their Indian counterparts to set up this lab, which works on various projects to clean the sewage, but also to reclaim land and to lower pollution. And the collaboration that was not only with scientists, but also with all kinds of companies and government bodies in the loop. And on the next sheet, we show that this is kind of our new modality of working. We are not only interested in setting up individual research projects, such as individual single postdoc projects, but connecting innovative hubs and ecosystems together in which all kinds of consortia are more and more involved. So consortia between different universities, different scientists, people from different disciplines with different backgrounds, also from different regions. In the next sheet, we've got some statistics on that. Speaking of which, you will find in the Netherlands a very internationally friendly home at our universities, where English is now the main language, but you also see that more than 40% of the scientific staff is now foreign. And on the next sheet, it shows that these are not only from the EU, but they are from all over the world. And to add to that, on the last sheet, we can also see that our universities are ranking very well. Most of them are now in the top 200 of these international ranking lists. So we just really would like to say, we welcome you as strong candidates to pursue your academic career through the Netherlands and India. On the last two sheets, I've got some links for you to make contact and ask us any questions that you want, but also to find out a bit more about the research programs that we have up and going. So thank you very much and all the best to you.
Thank you so much, Doya. And we have a Dutch university here with TU Delft. So it's very nice that you gave a kind of the generic overview about the bilateral collaboration and the opportunities for cooperating in research innovation. And we go to our next speaker of today, Professor Praveen Kumar, who is the Chair, Office of International Relations at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Professor Praveen, welcome, and kindly share your screen.
Hi, so you can hear me and you can see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. So thank you very much for inviting us to talk a little bit about our institute. So we are in Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science. Is it? Can you see still the top, or that is a little bit hiding? Is it hiding, or?
No, we can see it very clearly, Dr. Praveen.
Okay, great. Thank you. So so this is fantastic. So actually our institute started in 1909, so it's about 112 years old, and it started actually with it's a great vision that Jamsetji and Tata had. He actually was the founder of the Tata Group, and he conceived this idea to start a institute of higher learnings and research in 1892. This was the same time around when Caltech and John Hopkins were established in US, and this happened during one of his voyages to US, that he came up with the idea that we have to start something like that in India too. And then he got a lot of help when he came back, and one of the important helps that he got was from the king, His Majesty Udayar, who was the Maharaja of the Mysore. The state of Karnataka at the time was called Mysore. And then Government of India and all of them came together to start this institute. And the first batch of the students were admitted to 2 departments, chemistry and electrotechnology. And you can see that one of them is a pure science, whereas the other one is an applied science. So basically, right from the beginning itself, the institute has focused on both science and engineering aspects. And right now, this is where we started, and now it looks like this. Our institute, as a matter of fact, Bangalore grew up with our institute, as you can see from the skylines here. And now we have become a comprehensive institute of science and engineering. So basically, there are 42 departments and centers in our institute, which covers basically all aspects of traditional science and engineering, and also a lot of departments, a lot of centers, a lot of activities are going on in the interdisciplinary research, which essentially involves quite a bit of social sciences, quite a bit of management also in together. So instead of going through all of these different names, I can just simply say that we are present in all different things in science and engineering. So this is our general view of who we are, or what is our composition demography. We, as I said, there are 12 departments and centers focusing on all the different aspects of science and engineering. We have about 518 faculty, out of which 450 are academic staff and 68 are scientific staff. We have about 4,200 students. Out of these 4,200 students, 65% of them are PhD students. So basically, that's our main focus, major input there. We graduate about 400 PhD students per year. That's roughly about 1 PhD student per faculty member. And because we are focused heavily on research, with PhD being our major output, we do publish quite a bit of papers. For example, 30,000 papers in the last 5 years, and that makes us number 1 as far as the research is concerned in India. This reflects into some of the rankings. So, for example, we have been number 1 ranked university in India from 2016 as per the NRIF. That's an Indian ranking. We are also ranked high in the international rankings, especially if you look at the citations per faculty. We are number 1 this year, and we have been consistently higher up in these rankings. And one thing also we have to realize that we are actually a small institute with only about 4,200 students. And so some while ago, we had a ranking of small institutes, and there we ranked really high in top 10 actually in the world. So because of all these performances, we have been selected as an Institute of Eminence in July 2018 for 5 years. And under this Institute of Eminence program, there are a lot of new initiatives that came in our institute. And one of the major initiatives was essentially just to internationalize our institute itself. So under that, we initiated a lot of programs for the visiting professors, postdoctoral fellowship for the students, exchange, and how can we host them here. And I will be very happy to talk more about what we are doing in this range. At the same time, we also started to look into how can we start new programs in emerging research areas. How can we expand our existing research infrastructure, and all of these different aspects. So this IOE status has given us a lot of impetus to move forward and strengthen essentially our footprint. We host world-class facilities. For example, the India's fastest supercomputer, Shastra, is hosted here in our institute. We use it for all sorts of applications, ranging from the weather forecasting, climate changes, to astrophysics and energy research. And similarly, we have several national level facilities hosted in our institute. These are some of the cross-disciplinary research focus areas these days, which means these are something that has been there, and now it has got a little bit more traction. For example, in brain computation and data sciences, cyber security, biomedical systems, devices, materials informatics, quantum technologies, visual analytics, sensors, cancer research, These are some of the things where our institute has focused a little bit more in recent past. And these are some of our major upcoming research areas. For example, digital health, we want to expand there. Autonomous systems, this is something that is going to start very soon in our institute, which will cover a large variety of topics. Then we are also now going to start the Genome India program, which is one of the massive programs taken by the government of India, and we are part of it. And then clean coal tech is also something that we are focusing quite a bit in recent past or now. We have been also an institute where we have been translating this science to patents and finally to some startups. For example, this is just a given example that our institute has actually incubated 25 companies in the last 5 years only. Not just that, we have very good interactions with industries from all over the world. So we have run about 550 projects with 200 companies across the globe in the last few years. And not that, but actually, 8 to 10 corporate research centers are there inside the institute. For example, Pratt & Whitney has a research center inside our institute itself. Now, in terms of the bilateral collaborations, these are some of the examples. For example, we all are already collaborating with about 22 universities in UK, including Cambridge, Imperial, UCL, Bristol, and 41 universities in Europe. And I'm very happy that a representative from TU Delft are here, because with them we have a very strong collaborations going on for last decade or so. We generally get funding from government and non-government organizations, bilateral programs to run our programs under these bilateral collaborations. The type of collaborations that we often have with our partners, covers exchange programs, joint PhD supervision, joint PhD degree programs. As a matter of fact, with the TU Delft, KUL, we have joint PhD supervision programs, and that has been going quite successful for last several years.
Dr. Praveen, sorry to intervene. One more minute.
No, I'm more or less done. So now, besides what is going to be offered under this Marie Curie program, our institute also have a lot of postdoctoral fellowships that are meant for the international students. If they are short-term visitors, it is meant for short-term visiting also, that can go on for three months to 1 year. We have the standard regular postdoctoral fellowship programs for 2 years, and then slightly prestigious postdoctoral fellowship that goes by the name of our first Indian director, C.V. Raman, the Raman Postdoctoral Fellowship that also can go for 2 years. So these are different programs. The money comes from our institute, and we will be very happy to host anyone who would be interested to come and spend some time at IISc. So with that, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you. These are just 2 seasons in Bangalore.
Beautiful seasons in Bangalore, and very nice to hear the offers you have for international researchers with stipends and the different fellowship programs, and that IISc is also interested to host a fellow under the Global Fellowship Program. Next, we go to France. We go to our dear colleague, Dr. Srini Kaveri. I think whom most of you know already, doesn't need much of an introduction, but still I want to welcome him here as the director of the CNRS India office. CNRS stands for, now I'll practice my French, Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique.
Parfait, Samrat, merci beaucoup. Oh my God, your French is so good. Good afternoon. Can you hear me and can you see my slides, Samrat?
Yes, to both.
Yeah, good. Good afternoon to all of you, and I see that many of my friends are here, and thank you very much, Samrat, for giving me this opportunity to participate in this interesting event. My name is Srini Kaveri, and I represent today not just CNRS, as you mentioned. I kind of represent entire France, because most people, as Tanya mentioned earlier, are on vacation during the month of August. Lucky those. But I'm here at your service. I will be brief, and although many people I have known personally, all the institutions that are here, CSIR, Ashoka, IISc, IITs, THSTI, I have visited personally. I know you all personally. You have heard about. Therefore, my presentation will be brief. The point I would like to make today is under this global MSCA Global Fellowship, all the institutions that I'm going to mention to you, only to mention to you, they are ready to identify postdocs and to encourage them to apply to come to India. This is the point. And therefore, all that I'm going to show you today is how good we are, that you knew already, but just the name of the institutions who are going to participate in this, and there may be many more. Do you see my next slide, Samrat? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Good. Yeah, we are good. In France, we are good in science, and you know that. We have about 65 Nobel laureates amongst us, and France holds the 4th position. And in physics, we have 14 laureates, and chemistry 9, and medical sciences 13, and in economical sciences 4. And we also have quite a high ranking in the mathematics fields medals. And we are good in science. We are almost as good as in Olympics. You must be seeing the table of Olympic medals these days. And just around that position, we are 6th in scientific publications, and about more than half of our publications are with collaboration or under collaboration, and which is a very positive sign. We interact a lot with international laboratories. We have a huge number of R&D staff, and about 32% are women, and we are hoping more and more there. And we have over almost 8,000 grant agreements signed in Horizon 2020 with an average success rate of 15.2, which is a good, decent score. And we are good in innovation also. I'll not go into the details. We are aiming to become the startup nation, a top nation for putting up disruptive innovation. We are 2nd in patent applications in Europe, and we are raising a lot of money for innovation. I like this slide because this looks quite complicated. In France, we have a small saying, something like, Gilles, you should correct me. Quand on peut compliquer les choses, pourquoi simplifier? In English, it would be, when we can complicate things, why should we simplify that? But then, believe me, this is not complicated at all. All that this slide shows, with all these arrow marks going here and there, is that there is a lot of interaction between or among the universities, the national research centers, and the Grand École on the academic sector, towards academic sector. And we collaborate a lot with the non-academic sectors, large enterprises, hospitals, public agencies, museums, small, medium-sized organizations, etc. And all these UMR that you see means Unité Mixte Laboratoire or Unité Propre de Recherche. So all that this means is that a national research center like CNRS has several such labs, and that interact with universities and who also interact with Grandes Écoles. To make it simple, I'll tell you, I am a CNRS scientist that you know, paid by CNRS for a long, long time, maybe a little too long for them. I have been paid by CNRS, but my research laboratory is an INSEM unit, and we work with 3 different universities in Paris. You see, as simple as that. So there is a good flexibility interaction. So if you're working with one, you are connected with most other research organizations. So I'll be very brief. 1 or 2 words about research centers. I represent CNRS, and we are ready to send, identify the candidates from our labs and send over to India. We are quite a big and highly prestigious research organization that you may already know about. 3.3 billion euros of budget, and over 33,000 people work in more than 1,100 research laboratories practically spread all over. And we are also in India. As Praveen just now mentioned, we have an Indo-French Center in Applied Mathematics in IISc Bangalore, and we have a research laboratory in computer science in Chennai Mathematical Institute. And as Jill and Shashi and Rama and most of you know, we have research laboratories, virtual laboratories in many, many organizations in India. So we are very much present in India, and we would also like to send our people, students, postdocs to India and to most of your institutions. And one word about INRIA. INRIA is a National Institute for Research in Digital Science and Technology. They are also a big research organization. And with CNRS and CEFIPRA and DST, we have annual calls. You may be aware of that. And INSERM is a medical research organization and quite a powerful medical research organization, equivalent of ICMR in India. We have quite a few Horizon 2020 and FP7 programs, and we are working a lot on COVID these days also. And Department of Atomic Energy equivalent, which is a CEA, Centre d'Énergie Atomique, and there also it's a huge research organization, a lot of potential for research and collaboration. One word about Institut Français de Recherche pour l'Exploitation de la Mer. As you can see the colorful picture, it is all about understanding and predicting the ocean, exploring, understanding, and predicting the ocean. This is particularly interesting in view of the blue economy. And there also there is room for students to come and work. And we are identifying students from there, PhDs, to come to India. And another equally important research organization is National Institute of Agricultural and Environmental Research, equivalent somewhat of ICAR in India. And they are ready to participate. And there we also have a representative of INRA-A soon in India, and he will be in Bangalore. And all the universities in France are ready to participate in this, about 41 universities. You must have heard about Grande École, and many of you have also worked with these Grande Écoles, École Normale Supérieure or Arts et Métiers or INALCO, the social sciences people, and the Grande École for Engineering or Polytechnique, Centrale Supélec, INSA, and many, many more. And they're all interested in sending their people to India. And here, I think I did not take even 7 minutes, Samrat. You must congratulate me for that. And many more details you can get about these institutions and organizations. And okay, and here are my contact details, and my colleague Deepali will also be very happy to answer your questions. And please do consider talking to us. Thank you very much, Samrat, and thanks to you. And I'm ready to take questions if there are any at the end.
Merci, Srini. Je suis désolé. It was 8 minutes, though, but still,
8?
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, we have to practice again. Anyway, thank you so much, showing like the strong collaboration between France and India, the ongoing, and and the interest of hopefully French students coming, using those already, the bridge already which CNRS has made to India, and walking on that bridge and doing their research, the postdoctoral fellowship research in India. Next, it gives me a great pleasure to invite Dr. Manisha Ramesh. She's Dean at International Programs at Amrita University. Dr. Manisha, thank you for joining us, and we are much looking forward to hearing about what your university can offer to international researchers from Europe under the postdoc program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very happy to join this program. I hope I am audible. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me just, sorry. So, good afternoon, everybody from both the continents. I am Manisha from, I am representing Amrita Vidyapeetham, which is called Amrita University. The university actually believes in 3 strong visions such as education for life and education for living, where we believe that the main purpose of education should be to impart a culture of the heart. And we also believe that our research has to be compassion driven, basically use the research to serve the lowest and the most vulnerable strata of the society. And with all these things, we also know that we have to work for the global challenges. So the global impact is another major philosophy where we stand for the strategic juncture of the 2 streams of culture, the East and West, to come together to provide the solution. These vision and mission drive the university move forward. As of today, the university at a glance, it is a multi-campus, multidisciplinary research university with the disciplines spanning from management, engineering, sciences, medicine, and interdisciplinary studies, with having more than 6 campuses. 2 new campuses are coming, one at near Delhi at Faridabad and one in Amravati. And the other campuses you can see are mostly on the south part of the country. And we have more than 20K students and 220 plus programs. Over the years, we are one of the youngest universities, started in the year 2003 and had took a steep trajectory from the day we started itself. We started with a large project on satellite network for education with ISRO with Indo-US collaboration with 20 top universities, and starting the Center of Excellence on wireless sensor networks and on nanotechnology, leading to world's first real-time landslide warning in systems. And moving forward, we also understand that we have to improve our quality and we have to have the expert faculty, which helps us to also to pull in the best of the knowledge from the world by bringing in even Nobel laureates and getting into the strong collaborative projects, which helped us to actually become the world center of excellence in disaster reduction. And our technology business incubator has been selected as India's best by the NITI Aayog. And we got the India's first UNESCO chair on gender equality and women empowerment in 2016. And again, because of our commitment to the society, we have started a largest university program called Clean Drinking Water Solutions, catering to 5,000 rural villages with researchers involving from different parts of the world. We also have a tribal center of excellence from Ministry of Tribal Affairs, an MOU with Indian Navy. Altogether, we are 4th ranked in India by the NIRF ranking and selected as technology enabling center also. And the last one is like we also got the 2nd UNESCO chair on experiential learning for sustainable innovation and development. With all these things, over the years, we have climbed the ladder. We are 4th in the country. We are also selected as the institution of eminence. And within this short span of just little over than 16 years, we are able to become top in the clinical in 300, in the engineering in world rank 400, and in the top in computer science with 500, and as the #1 private university with the #1 in the international outlook. Not only that, we are very happy to say that in the recent 2021 impact ranking, we are ranked India's top 1 with 81st as the ranking, with the SDG 4 with 5th rank, gender equality with 8, good health 37, and clean water and drinking water as 52, with industry innovation as 200. Along with all this work we have put together, as I said, we have 2 UNESCO chairs in the university. What made us to change or what made us to excel is our interdisciplinary research, which is rooted in compassion-driven research and innovation. We have developed world's first Internet of Things system for early detection and warning of landslide, Asia's first upper arm double hand transplant, and India's first haptics, AI, and big data technology for skill development, which has been deployed in 27 states with more than 10,000 women has been trained under this area, with 5 billion research funding and more than 12,000 international publications with 40,000 plus research citations. We also have worked on offshore communication for fishermen and also very strong presence on the sanitation as part of the biotechnology and the social science aspect, with more than 4,000 toilets has been built in different parts of the country. Very strong on the diabetic care with low-cost device and cloud-enabled smart solution, and in the cancer research with high-performance non-invasive diagnostic probe. As I said, we are our thrust areas and center of excellence. We have more than 30 plus center of excellences spanning across these interdisciplinary areas: medical engineering, biology. We have Center for Nanoscience and Molecular Medicine, biotechnology and biomedical engineering, sustainability and resilient communities. We have large programs on green technologies, School for Sustainable Development, Amateur Labs and Create program, engineering, wireless networks, computer science. We have Center for Wireless Networks and Applications, Computational Engineering Network, computer science and biology. We have bioinformatics, computational neuroscience, spirituality and science. We have Amrita, space, mind medicine, yoga and meditation, management and society. We have technology business incubator, Center for Sustainable Development. These are some of the centers of excellence with more than 150 patents within this short span of time. The international research, just to give you a glimpse of some, in the water area, we have several projects and our collaborators are TU Delft, Saxion, University of Trento and Tel Aviv and King's College. In the energy area, we have collaborations with TU Munich, VTT, EPFL and KTH. In the area of education, we have collaborations with TU Munich, EPFL and Central NANS and University of Trento and University of Twente. Skill, we have a collaboration with the Stanford, UC San Diego, EPFL and TU Munich. Health, we have collaborations with GU Munich, with Harvard, Stanford, and UC San Diego. Sanitation with Bill and Melinda Gates, University of Gulf, McGill. And disaster, we have large collaboration with Met Office, Polytechnico UK Met Office, Politecnico di Milano, King's College London, British Geological Survey, and CNR Italy. All these are also complemented with our compassion-driven approach, where the university has adopted more than 108 communities, where we look into different focus areas, what are the challenges, and try to bring in the sustainable development. So over these years, this is our presence where our students have deployed sustainable solutions, where we also have international partners worked with us, leading to the output of these different opportunities, with more than 165 projects in the using experiential learning, reinventing the toilet by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, 145 million funding for 10,000 villages for the clean drinking water solution, women empowerment with 4,000 plus healthcare, and also with respect to all these have come from the international collaborations. If you see that these are some of the leading collaborations which we have with the European partners. And if you can see that several of the partners are there, with them we have multiple levels: student exchange, integrated programs, research, joint center, etc. Leading to these are the different collaborative programs which we have engaged with the different European universities. And every year we have a large number of faculty and students actually go on both sides actually, and leading to European collaborative programs, projects, joint centers, and very well partnered in the Erasmus programs, the Horizon program, FP6, FP7, etc. Having an MOU of about 88 MOU in the Europe itself. And large focus with the industry. We are top one in a national awarded with our TBI with more than 150 patents, and large enhancement on that area. With industry collaborations, we are so many collaborations with industry and international is helping us to gear the research excellence. The infrastructure and learning resources provided by the university has a lot of national mission labs, industry co-funded labs, and India's first landslide laboratory. We also have a lot of state-of-the-art interdisciplinary labs, which is like, this is the collaborative to innovate design labs for SDGs, immersive research labs in more than 20 of the villages, and sustainability and resilient communities. We have water sustainability technologies and testing lab, integrated earth system dynamics lab, sustainable resource management lab, sustainable materials and resilient infrastructure lab, smart microgrid technologies, embedded systems, power systems and renewable energy hardware in the loop, flexible wireless electronic devices, advanced IoT, intelligent electronic systems, emerging wireless labs, cyber physical systems with cyber physical labs, and the machine health monitoring, communication and networking with the advanced robotics and automation lab, IoT integrated vulnerability and penetration testing lab, AI labs for biomedical, AI, Amrita Intel AI Research Center, Innovation Center in AI, Center for Artificial and Speech Processing Lab, GIS and AI-based smart navigation and communication, big data business analytics, computational genomics. All these are facilitated by a strong office at international office at Amrita, which looks at the student and faculty opportunities for student and faculty exchange, short-term programs, sabbaticals, internships, etc. And for the university collaboration with international university collaboration, collaborative research project, international faculty exchange, joint centers with funding from seed funding from Amrita up to $200,000 US, and also for the international visitor programs with a large implementation on both directions, even for funding for joint publications and working together in joint laboratories. So these are some of the schemes which has been devised and used.
Dr. Manisha, I'm very sorry, but we have to come to an end.
That's it. It's coming down, sir. So these are the different programs, and for each of the career, they are given different opportunities to move forward. So our strength is long-term collaboration, which is multi-domain sustainable model, joint centers in thematic area with seed grants, student opportunities, interdisciplinary multi-scale, international standard laboratory, 30+ research centers and ecosystem focused on compassion-driven research. And thank you, everybody. This is what I would like to talk about, Amrita, and thank you. And we look forward to host each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manisha. Amazing journey. Within 16 years, your university has really achieved so many excellent collaborations, excellent science, and wonderful also philosophy behind the university, which I really, on a personal note, very much appreciate. Thank you so much. We move on to the next. We go back to Europe. We go to Germany. And it's a pleasure to welcome Ms. Katharina Spannhacke. She's advisor, MSCA and NCP for the MSCA and the European Research Council at COVI Services. Welcome, Katharina. And the mic is yours.
Thank you. So I try to share my screen. So can you see it in full screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, so thank you for having me here. My name is Katharina Spannhacke. I'm in Germany and I work at COVI. And today I will introduce you our COVI services and especially COVI services for the MSCA. So yes, COVI is the EU liaison office of the German research organizations, and we are one-stop shop for Horizon Europe, the new framework program, and we give information, advice, and training on EU research and innovation funding. We are financed by the German Research Foundation, the DFG, and we are a service platform for our supporting association. We focus on universities. We have offices in Bonn and Brussels, and this is why we are connected on the European level. Bonn is next to Cologne in North Rhine-Westphalia. Yes, you already have seen this graphic here, so I don't have to say anything. Today we focus on MSCA. As I mentioned in the beginning, we give information, advice, and training on the EU Framework Program for Research and Innovation, but how are we doing this? We give information events and workshops. Then you have the possibility to submit our COVI newsletter, and you can read our COVI fact sheets. There you find detailed information on the MSCA. You can find the fact sheets on our website, and you can have a look at the MSCA Matchmaker. I will explain you later on. Then we give advice. So this means individual consulting and support for applicants or tailored advice for small groups. Furthermore, you can get advice on legal and financial project management. Last but not least, there are training opportunities. So we have workshops on application and grant management and workshops on legal and financial project management. Let's have a look at the MSCA Matchmaker. This is a virtual board for postdocs. And here you can find a host institution in Germany. It is really easy because you can filter by scientific area and by city, and we update this matchmaker regularly. You will find the matchmaker on the COVI website. As I said before, individual consulting is one of our supports. So we can support you if you have any questions on the eligibility, then we can write an email or we can telephone. And we give advice on your proposal writing. Furthermore, we have feedback on your proposal draft. To get this feedback, you have to send your proposal to us at least 2 weeks before the deadline. So this means that we have that you have to send us your proposal till 28 September this year. And all of our services are free of charge. Yes, you can follow us on Twitter. Here you can see our Twitter site. Here you get current information on EU funding. Let's have a look at Germany. Germany is an attractive destination for MSCA Fellows. Here I have some key facts and figures from the last framework program, Horizon 2020. So 527 MSCA individual fellowships project were with German organizations, and 546 researchers went to German organization. So Germany is the second among EU member states for an MSCA fellow. And in Horizon 2020, there were 2,668 participations of German organizations, and the EU contribution share was 558 million euros. If you want to move to Germany, then there are some websites where you can get information and support. So you can go on the website Research in Germany or Make It in Germany, and there you get any information you need for your stay in Germany. Here you find our contacts. If you have any questions concerning the PF, the postdoctoral fellowships, then you can contact, of course, Christina Wien, Isabel Herzog, Dunja Hoffmann, Dominic Maas, and myself. So, and here I have my contact points. So this is all from me. I hope I'm in this 7 minutes deadline. So yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Katarina. You made it under 5 minutes. So that makes me as the moderator very happy because we are running a bit late. But I'm really very thankful to all of you for your patience. And I think it's a very important webinar to promote more this fellowship and the opportunity for two-way mobility, right? Katarina, thank you. And we come back to India and we come to Ashoka University. And here we have Professor Shashidhara, who will give a presentation about Ashoka and the opportunities for international postdocs at their university. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, and we can see the slides perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So, thank you very much for this opportunity. Ashoka University is a relatively new university compared to, IISc Bangalore, which is more than 100-year-old institute, to all other organizations which we're talking today. But Ashoka University is, creating a lot of positive vibes in the academic community in India, particularly because of the very unique feature of Ashoka University, which is its liberal arts research university. Now, so it's basically gives a lot of importance to foundational knowledge, and through learning is through academic research. Not only faculty do the research, even the students learn by doing research. The real life problems of the society are brought to the classroom where it is discussed openly in an academic ambience, and then and understand the cause of the problem so that one can actually think of innovative solutions. That is, of course, one aspect of the applied and translational aspect of academic life. The other aspect is going deeper and deeper into the knowledge itself and trying to understand where are the pitfalls in the knowledge, what we know as of today, and how to improve the knowledge by adding more information to it through research. So the student and faculty are open-minded in a liberal arts program, and scientific inquiry and relationship and interdependence between the science and other domains of human creativity and critical thinking are the most important aspect of Ashoka's liberal arts research university mission and the vision. And as you could, for example, undergraduate students, including PhD students who have to go through the courses, or master students, they're introduced to both the natural world and the human world as a continuum rather than a separate islands. Now, we have a wide range of disciplines in Ashoka. So all the postdocs from Europe, which are representing any one of these disciplines, or even interdisciplinary areas, or if some discipline which is not represented, but they think they can be connected to one of our disciplines, they are welcome to come to Ashoka. And I'm not going to read all the disciplines. We are going to keep adding more and more disciplines. There are many other disciplines which are represented by one or two faculty, but more or less the entire spectrum of academic knowledge are represented in Ashoka. And in natural sciences, it's a much more recent compared to the social science humanities in Ashoka, but in natural sciences, we are trying to sort of bring in the frontiers of the natural sciences. It's like, for example, synthetic biology in biology, or quantum field theory in physics, and study of complex systems, for example, trying to understand the COVID-19 pandemic through the eyes of a physicist. And chemistry too, environmental chemistry, quantum chemistry, and synthetic biology are some of the modern areas in which we are investing, and many of our faculty are working in these areas. And we do have, of course, some of the upcoming areas I mentioned up. Then many of the postdocs who would like to come here, or even visiting PhD scholars, they actually not necessarily to have a faculty represented in Ashoka, but we still provide a sufficient mentorship. At the same time, they get exposed to a variety of other interesting fields, so that they themselves will get enriched in the areas in which they want to work, in Ashoka. Some of the interdisciplinary research areas we started, one is the Trivedi School of Biosciences. It's something where physics, chemistry, math, biology, computer science, and social sciences are also embedded under biology umbrella. The second is much more recent and very exciting for all of us, is the interdisciplinary archaeology research, where the traditional archaeology is combined with natural sciences, so that actually we can actually get deeper insights into the past, Indian past, both in terms of how human habitats have evolved over the time as an interaction between human and its our natural surroundings. Another center that which is really making making Ashoka very popular is the Trivedi Center for Political Data, and Jill, who is heading the TCPD, is here to answer any of the questions. It's a unique, it's a first of its kind. I'm sure it's a first of its kind, not only for India, it's more or less for the whole Asia, where you can actually look into all kinds of data related to the political system in a society. So you can actually, those who are interested, they can come to Ashoka, look at some of these data, try to understand how a large society like ours, Indian society, very diverse, socio-economic and the educational backgrounds, how do they actually see politics as part of their day-to-day life? How do they actually take decisions, related to democracy, and how deep embedded the democracy in a country like India, which is had an independence only about 75 years ago, right? It's very interesting set of data and expertise we have on campus who can help people to, you can be a data scientist, you can be a social scientist, you can be a complex system network scientist, or you can be actually a political science person who can actually come and work in Ashoka. Another, interesting area is the Center for Economic Data and Analysis. Again, this has a computer science, data science, embedded into understanding the grassroots level economic data. It's not like simply looking at the big in terms of GDP. In fact, what is GDP? How to calculate GDP? To looking at, understanding the economics in the context of different communities, socio-economically diverse communities. How do they perceive economy, and what is the impact of various different policy decisions on different socio-economic communities, and including gender inequity in a country like India. Again, they have access to a large amount of data, and this data itself is a gold mine for any postdoc or others to come and work in Ashoka. We have fantastic infrastructure. This is the real building, and as it's really the far end building is the latest one we added. It's going to be opened for formally in 2 weeks' time, but it's the campus is fully well established, and we are already occupied for the last 6 years. In terms of other facilities for living standards on the campus, dining is, we have fantastic multi-cuisine dining places. We have good sports facilities, swimming pool, and other and other amenities for any scholars to come and work. And we are also adding more facilities on campus. And one, of course, any academic organization, irrespective of what kind of buildings we have, what kind of other facilities we have, the most important is the faculty, and we have stellar faculty across all disciplines. Some of the top prizes that you can think of. One of the example is Infosys Prize in India is considered the top science. It's not only for science, humanities, social sciences. It's a top prize, and we have 6 of them. Right? No other organization in India has that many number of Infosys Prize awardees, in addition to so many other awards. So they're all really well accomplished faculty. Even some of the young faculty who come to Ashoka, they're already so well known through their work. It's just a pleasure to interact with them. Just to give you one glimpse of the kind of work Ashoka have taken up, how quickly they can adapt to a new situation. As soon as the COVID pandemic was announced and an outbreak happened, and the WHO declared.
Professor Shashidhara, I'm really sorry.
I'm almost done.
1 minute. Yeah, thank you.
1 minute. Yeah. So some of our faculty, had a deep dive into understanding the epidemiology of this pandemic, and they have developed one of the largest, simulation model on the COVID-19 spread, and their work is still, of course, in progress. And we have MOUs with very large number of organizations. We have very large number of international students and faculty on our campus. And we have some of these MOUs we have signed, and partnership we already have. And diversity and inclusivity is something which is really, the USP of Ashoka. We have students and faculty from large number of countries, and the entire India is well represented, and all the entire socioeconomic, sort of diversity of India is also well represented in Ashoka. And I'll stop here. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions. We have fantastic, of course, living facility for international students on campus.
Thank you so much, Professor Shashidhara. Very impressive interdisciplinary centers you have, and I think that's very interesting also, not only for social science humanities, but also what you were saying, the upcoming centers in natural sciences and the interdisciplinary work you're doing. We go next to the south of India, to Iit Madras. And here it's a great pleasure to welcome Professor Raghunathan Rangaswamy, the Dean, Global Engagement at Iit Madras. Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Rangaswamy. Please unmute your mic.
Sorry, can you see my slides?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I'll just start by showing you where. Okay, so where Iit Madras is. It's in the south of India, in the coastal city of Chennai. And we have a beautiful 625 acres of wooded land where the campus is located. While we are located locally in India, we have had international collaborations for several years now. So we have this office itself, which has been around for now 14 years. We have about MOUs with 280 universities, a large number of them in Europe, 142. We have several joint doctoral programs, about 19 of them, and we also have joint supervision programs with several universities all over the world. Just some key facts about Iit Madras. As I said before, it's about 620 acres, more than 600 plus faculty, 10,000 plus students, and the university was started in 1959, and as you can imagine, there are lots of alumni. It's about 50,000 of them all over the world. We have about 37 centers of excellences traditionally, and we have newer initiatives, which I'll talk about very quickly. And we also have the first university-driven research park in India, the Iit Madras Research Park. Quickly, we've been ranked #1 for 5 years in a row in engineering, and #1 best university for 2 years in a row, and so on. In terms of departments, we have engineering departments, we have all science departments, and we have humanities and management studies departments also. And as I talked about the centers of excellence, there are many. We have a center of excellence in combustion research, nano devices, materials, data sciences, soft matter, and so on. And we also take part in several Make in India opportunities. Our faculty from civil engineering go and look at heritage structures and provide consultancy in terms of how to maintain them and so on. One of the recent activities is also this Section 8 company, which is started as part of IITM initiative called Pravartak, which is the hub for research in cyber physical systems. Other than the regular publications that an university does, Iit Madras faculty are involved in translational research, working for space defense organizations in India. And we are also really focused on transformational research with direct social impact. I'll give you a couple of examples. And the academic research is largely funded by government grants, but we also have a large number of consultancy grants that come to Iit Madras. We have about 1,450 plus projects going on with 450 Indian companies, 40 foreign companies, and so on. In terms of the social impact that I just mentioned, our faculty are involved in multiple activities, one of which is rural electrification, DC devices, and so on. This is a project that was implemented by Iit Madras in Rajasthan. We also have projects on clean drinking water. Amrit, you see on the right side, is a system that provides clean drinking water to several parts of India, again, developed by faculty at Iit Madras. We are also interested in looking at assistive devices for physically disabled and so on. So there is a focus on using research for social impact. And as I mentioned before, we have the one of the first industry-based university research park at Iit Madras. I also want to kind of talk about some recent initiatives that we have started. As you might know, some universities were identified as institutes of eminence by the government of India, and they were funded. And based on that, we have started this Iit Madras research initiatives in multiple disciplines. Just to pick a couple, we have a Center of Excellence in AI and Data Sciences, where we look at all kinds of problems. We have a Center of Excellence in Ocean Technology. So if you just look at this map here, you will see almost every field represented in this research initiatives. And we are really looking for international collaborations through these research initiatives. The interesting thing about these research initiatives is that every one of these, so there are about 21 clusters which are represented here and about 65 projects. Every one of these projects have international collaborators as part of, inherent part of the program. Now, if you come to Iit Madras, we are very happy to welcome you. And if you really like the place and really enjoy being here, the postdoc can also continue on through this program that we have instituted called Young International Faculty. This is focused on actually recent doctoral students, postdoctoral fellows who can come and spend time as a faculty at Iit Madras. With an initial contract period of 2 years, extendable for another 3 years. And after that, if you still like staying here as a tenure track faculty position. I just wanted to leave you with some images of Iit Madras. It's an amazing campus and in the middle of a bustling city. Any questions that anyone might have, we have an Office of Global Engagement that interacts with international scholars and visitors, and please feel free to write to these email addresses for any further information that you might need. And I thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to welcoming some of you to Iit Madras campus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Rangaswamy. An impressive campus. I think I've been there a couple of times, and also I visited the research park and was very impressed by the state-of-art research which is going on. And I'm also, I have to say, I'm quite impressed by the fellowship which you are offering to national researchers. So we hope that under the global fellowship also some European researchers come to Iit Madras and use the opportunity to collaborate at your campus. We go now again to Europe and again to the Netherlands. And here I would like to welcome Ms. Marie Kumalove. She's policy advisor at global engagement at the Technical University of Delft. And we have already heard, Marie, that many Indian universities have a good collaboration with your university. So we're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Should I select share my screen? Will that work? Or should I wait for someone to do it? Okay.
Nope.
It's working now.
Yeah, now it's working perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for having me. And indeed, we're working with a lot of the Indian universities here, so we're also happy to see them. And I'd also like to thank Doya for giving the great introduction to collaboration in the Netherlands. So I can go hopefully quite quickly through the presentation. So here's a picture of Delft University of Technology, of our library. And just to let you know, the presentation, some of the slides will have a lot of information. It's mainly for people that want to look at it afterwards. And if people want more information, there's a much more detailed corporate PowerPoint if people are interested. So the TU Delft is the oldest and largest technical university in the Netherlands. There are 8 faculties. You can see them all here. I won't read them all out, but they cover most of the engineering disciplines. The mission of the TU Delft is to bring impact to society. So of course, there's very high level science, and there's both research, education, and valorization. So there's that. In terms of test and research facilities, there's really a variety. I also won't read through all of the names, but be aware that there are many high quality research facilities available to researchers. And in terms of education and students, I think this is where we already get into the India component, because as you can see, these are some of the qualities of the TU Delft engineer: critical thinking, acting independently, having a multidisciplinary training, and also having this international orientation and mobility. And if you look at the map on the slide, you'll also see that India is really one of the main international countries represented at the TU Delft. So both there are many TU Delft students who would go to India or elsewhere to study, for study abroad or after their education. But in terms of both bachelor's, master's, and PhD students, India is very well represented. For master's students, to give the example, it's, along with China, the largest contributing university or country. And for PhD students, I looked it up again today, it's not on the slide, but it's about 18% of PhD candidates at the TU Delft are from India. So that's also a very large amount. And in terms of staff, we have almost 100 Indian staff. So there really is quite a large Indian contingent at the university. And then getting into global engagement. So how structurally do we look at engagement at the TU Delft? You can see in the slide that TU Delft is a member of lots of different organizations and networks, both in the Netherlands, such as 4TU Federation or Leiden Delft Erasmus, which are some of the universities here in South Holland. Also the Idea League or Csir, which are European based. But for beyond the EU, we also have a global engagement framework. I couldn't put the link in the slide for you to see, but if you just search Global Engagement Framework 2018-2024 TU Delft, you'll be able to find the PDF online, and that explains the vision behind partnering. So it mentions, of course, how partnering is so essential to reaching the SDG goals and to bringing to fruition TU Delft's mission of having impact for society. And in terms of countries that we're looking at outside of the EU, there's a particular focus on Brazil, India, and China. It's also good to note that TU Delft has something called the TU Delft Global Initiative, which looks at a lot of countries in sub-Saharan Africa and also Asia. So there can be some projects with India or perhaps with India and neighboring countries like Bangladesh that are also served via this initiative. And then TU Delft in India. So here are a few of the pictures. I think to let you know, one of the pictures is from the space collaboration, which we have, which is very strong. Another is from the water collaboration. And you saw some photos of this Lotus HR project in Doya's presentation. And then the third is from a health collaboration. But really, there are a lot of domains. I'll show an illustration on the next page. But across all of the faculties, I'd say that we have over 30 active projects now, over 80 researchers working with India. So both individuals of Indian descent, but a lot of people also with let's say, personal links to India, but with a great interest in looking at the societal questions in India and collaborating with high-level scientists in India. And the collaboration with India has been going on structurally since 2011. So that was when we started more of the relations with ISC Bangalore, IIT Delhi, and other institutions on an institutional level. There's always been academics from the TU Delft collaborating internationally. And our strategy is, well, here I'm working to help support it, but really the impetus is to come from our academics. It's meant to be bottom up, that people find via conferences, via publications, via other networks, scientists that they have a real connection with, and that if they work together, it's a win-win situation. And we're here to support that. So someone who also works at TU Delft helps support that, but he couldn't be here because of the holidays, is Professor Rushenberg. He's the TU Delft India ambassador. And I wrote some of the other titles that he has because he does a lot around the university, but he's also a guiding force behind the TU Delft India community. And as I mentioned, it's across lots of domains. So this illustration is just some of the areas where TU Delft and India have a very good fit that we've noticed. So across space, climate, health, water, for example, there are a lot of collaborations, and these kind of EWI, CITG, that's internal faculty speak. So it just shows that it's across many of the faculties as well. And of course, it covers many of the SDG goals. So some of the academics I'll be talking about are actually present. I don't think they can speak, but maybe you could ask them questions in the chat. And I know for the next 4 slides, there's contact information if you're interested. So the first opportunity that a researcher let us know that they would be interested in this fellowship is Dr. Rachel Lee, and her project is about building blocks for pandemic-proof living environments. So if you would be interested in this project, I think it's best that you reach out to Dr. Lee personally. You're also always welcome to reach out to me. And then the second project, I believe we also have someone in the audience representing the Shaping Matter Lab. So it's this lab led by Dr. Kunal Masania. And I think the illustration is very good. We make biologically inspired composites from biologically fabricated composites. So you can see what they're doing, but basically they would like subjects related to additive manufacturing of biological composites, both synthetic high performance and bio-based. And they even have a website that you can look at for more information. So please feel free to be in touch with Dr. Masania. And I believe a colleague from the lab, Vinay, is in the chat today. And then let me see if I can move on. And then the next project is about building a carbon neutral or negative society. This project is taking place in Kerala in South India. It's a very large scale project. And you could contact Dr. Ralph Lindeboom if you're interested. I won't go through the entire illustration, but there are many different disciplines. So you have agroforestry, you have food and timber, future energy systems. So it will be quite a large and interesting project that it would be great that people are moving back and forth between the Netherlands and India for. And then Dr. Ralph Lindeboom is also involved with some of the water sanitation projects. So I mentioned earlier, and Doya mentioned as well, the Lotus HR project, and there's a photo of the Barapul drain right here, but there's also the Saraswati 2.0 and various other projects, either EU, so NWO, Indian agencies, or also EU projects that the Netherlands is involved in with Indian counterparts. So projects like this or future related projects are also interesting for the fellowship. So I think I spoke very fast, perhaps too fast. I was trying to keep us in time, but if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to the researchers directly. You can also contact me. Here are my contact details. And I'm really glad to have been able to participate, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Marie. Great overview about the opportunities and for the Global Fellowship, and also that you also will share the contacts of the researchers and prospective candidates can directly get in contact. Thank you so much. And we know this is your last working day before you go into the vacation. So thank you so much for taking your time and being with us. Now, last but not least, we come back to India, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Dr. Amit Avasti. He is associate professor, head of immunobiology lab at the Translational Health Science and Technology Institute in India. Dr. Amit, it's a great pleasure. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm sharing my screen, so you can see my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, I'm associate professor, myself, Dr. Amit Avasti, and this is a Translational Health Science and Technology Institute. This is one of the 10th institute of Department of Biotechnology, which comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. This is one of the unique institute in India, which is primarily the mandate of this institute to do actually translation research. So basically, we can take the things from bench to the bedside. This is the mandate of the institute. The institute is actually not very old. This is just started 10 years ago. So this is a fairly young institute, a research institute started by Department of Biotechnology. So if I go to the next slide, basically we have 4 major mandates of the institute. One of the thing is the vaccine and infectious disease, which is to understand the disease pathobiology or pathogenesis, identifying drug targets, development of novel vaccine, microbiome, and health and disease. So under the vaccine and infectious disease group, we have TB group, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. We have vaccine group, which primarily works on hepatitis E. We works on dengue infection, which is one of the major cause in India, cause of concern. In addition to this, the infectious disease group also works on the correlation of the microbiome, human microbiome, as we know that human microbiome is associated with almost all the diseases. And so we have a fairly good infrastructure to study the microbiome and using the sequencing platforms. The other group of the THSTI is the maternal and child health group, which is primarily focusing on the health as well as the maternal health. We are actually having one of the major program under this group trying to understand what is the cause of the preterm birth in India, which is the cause of concern. And also there's a, due to the nutritional problem in the during the childhood, we have the stunting problem. So this is one of the group which actually focusing on various aspects related to the maternal and child health. And we have one of the large cohort of the large cohort of the these pregnant women in India, around 8,000, and we have almost all the samples from these women, whether it's the vaginal microbiome, the urine, and various other samples. So we can correlate using these samples to predict some biomarker why and what is the cause of the preterm birth in India. So this is the major focus of this group. We have a diagnostic group which primarily focus on the diagnostic innovation to develop affordable healthcare for infectious disease as well as snake bite, which is one of the major concern in India. And we also develop technology and transfer these technology to various non-academic partners or the industries. In addition to this, we have another group which is a non-communicable diseases, which is the group primarily works on the autoimmune diseases. I myself work on the autoimmune diseases like inflammatory bowel disease, multiple sclerosis, and psoriasis. So we try to understand what are the inflammatory T cells or inflammation causing these disease condition. In addition, the non-communicable disease group is actually also focused on the diseases like non-fatty acid, non-fatty liver disease, and so on and so on. These four groups actually in the THSTI is actually supported by four major pillars. One is the bioassay laboratory. This is one of the laboratory in which we have all accredited assays, which is supporting these various activities. And this laboratory recently has been identified by the SAPI. This is a one of the seventh lab in the THSTI identified in the globe, and we are actually working so many assays we are developing and developed for COVID-19 vaccine and other disease conditions. We have where we store various samples, so we can have various biospecimen, all well annotated samples, and we can provide these samples as and when requires to anybody in India. So this is very important aspect. I mean, this is one of the major facility. We have data management group which actually collect and store these data very carefully, and we can share these data as and when required to any other partners in India. In addition, we have a small animal facility, which is one of the largest facility in India, and we have various animals, disease models which can be utilized to go into the molecular details of the disease biology. And recently, the THSTI has been actually granted 3 major funding grant with the European partners. So this is the Horizon 2020 grant, and we have AntFlu, we have Indigo, and we have Incentive. And these are the 3 major grants. In one grant, we are actually going to develop new vaccine, testing them in the preclinical model, and we have developed this is one of the first kind of facility in THSTI, ferret facility we have developed to test the influenza vaccine preclinically. In other 2 grant like Incentive, we will be testing the new vaccine clinically, and the THSTI will be evaluating various immunological parameters, whether it's a T cell assay, whether it's a B cell assay, the antibodies, and various other correlates of protection of the vaccine. So this is a major funding, and this is going to be an 5-year program in THSTI. So to support various activity in THSTI, because this is a research institute, and this is located in the Delhi region. So this is called National Capital Region, and this is a biotech science cluster which contains many other institutes. Currently we have Regional Center for Biotechnology in the cluster, but we plan to have many more institutions coming in the same cluster. So everything comes under the same campus. So it will be very useful for research activities. So this is, I have already described about the bioassay. So basically provision of clinical laboratory assays for dengue, chikungunya, influenza to researcher and vaccine developer, availability of the assays for researcher and industry, and development of partnership with vaccine manufacturer for phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials. And this is what we have done for COVID-19. We have done preclinical assays for COVID-19 as well as the clinical trials that the samples has been tested in THSTI. And participation in the serosurveillance study has been conducted by the bioassay lab. We have large BSL-3 facility.
Dr.
And
Amit, I'm very sorry. We have one more minute. Yeah, thank you.
So this is a BSL-3 facility which is supporting various activities for non-communicable diseases, especially the COVID-19 or tuberculosis. And this is one of the very fine facility we have at THSTI. This is, I already described about the small animal facility where we have various knockout and transgenic animals in the THSTI can be utilized for various groups. So this is ferret facility, which is recently inaugurated by the minister, and this is going to be up and running for this influenza trial. Again, this is a biorepository where we have many samples for COVID and non-COVID diseases can be utilized for the research activities. Recently, we have also developed an immunology core lab where high-end flow cytometry and various other immunological related assays are developed and provided to the various vaccine developer and partners. So basically, I'll just quickly skip this. And we have recently done a lot of work on the COVID. And these are the various companies to whom we have really collaborated and did a lot of work for them. And some of these work we have also done for the academic partners. So this is anybody who are interested to do the research in THSTI, they can really write to me at my email, or they can visit us at www.thsti.res.in, and we will be happy to provide all the necessary support, and we will be happy to answer any queries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amit, for very interesting range of research you're doing at your institute, and we hope that doctoral fellows. We are now already way beyond our time, and I would like to thank all the presenters for their excellent presentations. And also I would say to the audience who are still with us, this is the first time actually we have anticipated a webinar like this, trying to introduce and promote the global fellowship and bringing European and Indian institutions together who would be interested, to work on this and make an application together with a potential candidate. I would also like to take the opportunity to inform our Indian colleagues who are with us that there is a possibility to post job vacancies and hosting offers for international researchers at the Euraxis job portal. This is the largest database for jobs and funding opportunities in the research sector in Europe. Indian universities now and research organizations can register and advertise for free job vacancies and hosting offers for international researchers. The portal is visited monthly by hundreds of thousands of people across the world. So it means if you want to reach out to potential candidates and invite them to institutions, besides the global fellowship program, you can also host other hosting offers, which you have exposed to us today on that portal for free, and people can view them and apply to that. If you are interested to know more about how to post and register your organization to the Euraxis portal, you can send us an email after the webinar at india.euraxis.net. Now, I would suggest that any open questions which are there, you can directly send them to the speakers. We will share their presentations and their contact details with you, so you can concretely contact them and explore further opportunities under the MSc Global Fellowship. So with this, I would just like to say thank you to everyone, and I would warmly ask Dr. Tanya Friedrichs. For me,
like to give the concluding words of today's event. I think it went very well, Tanya, and there's a lot of scope and a lot of work for us still to do.
Indeed, Samrat, it was overwhelming. And to speak in terms of what is in the air, if we would have, I think everybody will get a golden medal. And I'm less concerned by, like you, on the timing. I'm just thinking on the quality. I mean, the inputs that we receive both from Europe and from India are really amazing and so attractive. Now, the issue will, of course, and it's good that we did it. It was not always, it's not easy, as we said in the beginning, and I find it even more difficult at the end to see one thing, one message I want to take away, who somebody said, I think it was from Kobe, it's partnering is key, or from Delft University, Marie. And that is what we have done today, partnering between India and Europe. And we have seen many opportunities, not only on the Global Fellowship. The doors of the Indian Institute for Europe and vice versa are open. So that is one good thing. As you also said, Samrat, reach out individually to the respective representatives of these organizations or of the institutions. No, of course, I would like to see when this call closes on the 12th of October, that we get a number of proposals for global fellowships. And how are we going to get there? I hope that from that exercise that we did in the first place, I think that is a starting point, that our European colleagues are more than ever convinced about what India has to offer as an associated partner country. And so the next step I would like to say to make that global fellowship happening is that either the representative of the NCPs or Katerina from Kobe or from other, they know the Europeans that want to do a postdoctoral. So either we do it top down or bottom up. And if you have if you know a potential postdoctoral European, please recommend them with your institution to look at what they can really achieve with their research by coming to India. That is another way to make that scheme happening. And then, of course, ultimately, of course, the ball is in the camp of the postdoctoral researchers themselves, who hopefully did attend. But of course, everything that goes through the web is how much people have we reached. So we have to multiply that information. And any postdoctoral European or an Indian that has been a resident in Europe for longer than 5 years starts connecting with the European institution and can then bring. We have only picked 5 out of the large country that India is. There are more, but I think that we can really say that today we had crème de la crème. And it really made me say, if I would be younger, much younger, I would definitely have even a difficult time to choose one of the 5 that were, or the 6 that were presented to us. As I said, you all have a golden medal for what it's worth from my side. And let's do what we have to do. That's partnering at all the levels, and each help us, please. And I would say, especially the European institutions, I would like you to help if you have postdoctorals that you know to complete that research in connection with an Indian partner. So that is really, after today, my plea to use this global fellowship more than we have. We have used it once with India. That is underused, and there is potential for that one. So that's another opportunity. And on this note, I also would like to thank you, everybody, for having taken the time, the enthusiastic, and everybody had a different approach to presenting it, but it was all put together, it shows that there is a very dynamic ecosystem between and complementary ecosystem between Europe and India, and that's all what we want to do, to bring the two together, and the rest is now for you. We're also at the EU delegation, the research and innovation section, remain available for questions. There have been many from more an institutional part, like associated country or another nationality, an Afghan who has a doctoral from GNU. Yes, you can pursue your studies in Europe, but that would be another scheme. So we are there to help. But let's focus on this global fellowship, because that is, as I said, underused, and that's where I would like to see, when the call is closed, that there have been some consortia submitted a bit among you or among with others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanya. Always the perfect concluding words. We'll really encourage you to contact us and contact the institutions. And we very much hope to see applications and some of you who attended today here in India. And it would be nice to meet and greet you then. For now, that's it. And thank you so much, all the speakers again. And of course, the EU delegation, Tanya, Vivek, and yeah, we'll stay in touch and have a nice afternoon. Bye.
We need to take a picture of this. It's too nice. Just a minute.
I took already, Tanya. But you can take one. You take one.
Yeah, because I just realized it's so nice. It's so nice to see already that cooperation virtually.
Yeah.
Here we go. And you are nicely in the center, Samrat, because without you, this wouldn't have been so well conducted.
I'm always next to you.
Yeah, and we will also reach out to all the institutions, because we also have other schemes where we could work together. So, as they say in French, ce n'est qu'un au revoir.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Vivek.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Tschüss.